In this video, we're going to do this worked example together. We're going to turn this written description about the relationships in an ecosystem into a visual representation called a food web. The first step is to read the description and identify the producers, the consumers, and the decomposers, if there are any. Sometimes they're mentioned, sometimes they're not. I like to use a highlighter to make notes as I read, and sometimes I need to reread what I've just read to make sense of all the relationships. So let's first read to find the producers. In a desert region, the flowering cactus is very abundant. So that's our plant, that's our producer. Insects and beetles eat the cactus flowers. So they consume. Scorpions eat the beetles, and tarantula spiders eat the insects. Lizards survive on tarantula spiders and beetles, while hawks prey on the lizards. Each consumer will appear once somewhere in the food web. Let's read on. Dead or decaying animals are broken down with the assistance of bacteria. There's my decomposer. Now we're ready to draw the food web, knowing that there's just one producer. But sometimes there's more than one producer. Because the food chain begins with the producer, write it at the bottom of the page. And all of our energy arrows can flow upwards from here. That's typically what we do because then any apex predators are seen at the top of the food web. Now it's time to draw in our consumers. First with insects and beetles, they eat the cactus flowers. But remember, other organisms consume then, so it's a good idea to spread the web. I'll put maybe insects on this side, but beetles on that side, and it would just give me some space to place the other consumers in the web. Now we're up to scorpions and tarantula spiders. And scorpions eat the beetles, and tarantulas eat the insects. Now lizards, they eat tarantulas and beetles. So I'm going to place them here, just above the tarantulas and the beetles. The last consumer to place is hawks, and hawks feed on lizards. So I'm going to place hawks up here at the top of the food web, the apex predator. Now, dead or decaying animals are broken down with the assistance of bacteria. The final thing to do is place the decomposer in the web. Now, it's true that in this web, the decomposer could interact with many, maybe even all of these organisms. So when we place it in a food web picture, we just choose one organism to link with the decomposer. It is there as like a token representation of the decomposer's role. So because there's some space on the left-hand side of my drawing, that's where I'll write bacteria, and I choose the tarantula to make the link. One arrow to the bacteria, one arrow from the bacteria to the producer. And this is the complete food web, and I can just finish by identifying the herbivores and the carnivores as the question requires. The herbivores are insects and beetles. The carnivores are tarantulas, lizards, scorpions, and hawks.